Anyway, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Orumon Keno. I'm from Nigeria, also a postgraduate student from MEFI. Today, I want to briefly, because I don't even have time since it's 10 minutes, I'll briefly share my research area, the area of interest, and how far I've gone with it, with us briefly on socio-economic and radiation-ecological aspects of the construction of a nuclear power plant in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because we don't have time, what I will do is to give a summary, then I show some of the slides, since the slides are a bit many. Actually, Nigeria, we are having the issue of power generation. Currently, we are into hydro, oil and gas. Hydro is a bit limited, but the oil and gas have been on for some years, but it has also been of the negative because of the negative consequences of pollution in the environment. And like the COP26 that we experienced some weeks back, the countries gathered, they came together and make some commitments towards climate change. And in Nigeria, we are having those issues. So we are also looking towards nuclear. And for us to go into nuclear, we need to do it right. Because the common men, the local people over there, the acceptability rate is very low because of the standard of the people. That is why I find it necessary to go into this research. The aim of the work is to study the development in Nigeria, the basic principles, methods and tools, as well as normative documents for objects of use of atomic energy in the country. And in the course of the research, promote the development of modern technologies of radiation, especially radiation-ecological monitoring in the environment as a means of control, environmental control in the region for the construction of the proposed nuclear power plant. Exactly why we find this interesting is at the current stage of Nigeria's quest for construction of a nuclear power plant, we have the critical task. The critical task is how to ensure radiation safety of the personnel, the communities, and the environment. And how do we do it? We need to get it right, the basic principles, and the needed documents. So in the course of my program, I've been able to look into few of the studies that precedes the construction of a nuclear power plant. Actually, we know of the geological, the seismological, the hydrological, the meteorological. All these Nigeria have also been able to undertake. But the environmental and social aspect, the social and economic aspect is pending. And this is the key aspect. Is a key aspect because it has to do with the local people. That's why I've been able to come up with this study. For an introduction, we know most of us know Nigeria, so I will not be able to go far. It's a federated country in the West Africa region. And because of our peculiar issues, our average life expectancy is very low, only for men 46 and for women from 48. And we have a population over 200 million, and we don't have power supply. That is our issue. And this energy crisis have really eaten up the country. Most of our industries are going to the neighboring countries because of the power issue. There is a slide, if we can see it very well. This slide shows the installed capacity, the peak generation, and the average generation. Actually, we have up to 12,800 or so megawatt as our installed capacity. But our peak generation have been around 5,000 And the distributed one is around 4,000, which is very, very inadequate. And that is why the country was able to go into nuclear. And I think I have done a presentation on a related topic before, where I showed how far we have gone with the nuclear program. We have the sites already, but this particular research is interested in the sites, the regions that we want to construct this nuclear power plant. The area, the social and economic aspect that we'll be neglecting is a key area, because it can even hamper the construction process and even the operations. So in this research, we were able to go into that area, look at the social status of the place, the few regions, and the social studies. In the social and economic survey, you look at the educational state of the people, the environmental conditions, the industries that are in that area. And from the environmental side, we're able to see that a lot needs to be done, especially the sanitary and other environmental aspect. A lot needs to be done. The educational studies, we also, from our analysis, we see that a lot still need to be done. If you look at the chart here, actually education is available. We have the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary, but it is not still accessible, because free education stops from the primary. And how do you, if you don't have money, how do you go to the secondary and the university? So looking at the social status, we were able to make some recommendations, and that's why the study was very important. And the second issue is the radiation, the fear of radiation, which we were able to also look into. From our analysis, we were able to see that it's real. Radiation is real, especially the ionizing radiation. The fear of the people is real. But we have protective measures. That is the importance of the study. We are afraid of radiation is real, but we still have hope that there are protective measures. On the slides, these slides particularly, you see how radiation affects the DNA. And if it is distorted, it will lead to a lot of issues, especially cancer and others. And from analysis in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I think on Kerala from India, we were able to see the radiation, the extent of damage of radiation on the people. And that shows that radiation is real and we need to protect it. And presently there is an automated system, we call it ARMS, which we were able to also go into. ARMS is Automated Radiation Monitoring System. This system is a set of meteorological sensors. It determines the state of the atmospheric stability. The system has gamma radiation dose rate monitoring stations located on the ground and the MPP process sensors for determination of the parameters of radioactive impurity emissions to the atmosphere. If we're able to implement this system, the system is shown in figure 11. We don't have time, so I couldn't go much on it. If you look at one icons 1 to 9, you'll be able to see the integral part, the equipment, the integral part of the ARMS system. It serves to obtain initial information that determines, you see the meteorological tone, the characteristics of the atmosphere, gas aerosol, radioactive impurities, radionuclide compositions, and the energy characteristics from 1 to 9. You will see it. And then the icon 10 here consists of the specialized equipment containing the block of primary processing of informations. Now, with the processing of these informations, you'll be able to have the results, the output from 11 to 17. And with this output, the operators and also the local people will be aware of the radiation system of the region, and the fear of radiation will become minimal. That's why we went into these studies. And further going, we're able to also look at, that is the third part of my research, we look at the present energy sources. How are they managed? How is the environmental condition of the present energy sources? And if there need be, what and what should be done? And we were able to see that especially oil and gas, we're having major issues polluting the environment. And one of the factors was that the industry users have been one of the problems, because they deliberately refuse to follow up. They deliberately refuse to do the right thing. And in that process, we were able to also make some recommendations. And our recommendation stands on financial instruments that the more firms engage in activities that are adverse to the healthy environment, the more the charges payable. And thank God, not quite long, Nigeria was able to also sign into law the petroleum industry bill. And not quite long, we were able to also, the president, after the COP26, was able to sign the revised climate change review bill. And these two bills, acts, will be able to help the country in terms of emission. But these are our recommendation. Financial instruments is still key, because the more you engage in activities that are adverse to the environment, the more charges you pay. And if you look at it that you are not making profit, you will be forced to do the right thing in protecting the environment. And then one other major issue we also consider is international cooperation. We looked at the international environment, and from our analysis, we saw that one thing that will facilitate a cleaner environment in Nigeria is our deal in international cooperation. Thank God our president was there in COP26, and he was able to make some commitments. And the take home has helped the country, because just recently he was able to sign the Climate Change Review Act. And in that Review Act, there are clauses that you must reduce emission. You must reduce emission. And so we recommended that Nigeria need to engage more on these cooperations, which will help the country. Because of time, I will need to conclude. Over the past years, the electricity production has been an issue because of the current energy sources, which is also inadequate and not sustainable. And Nigeria have been able to move into nuclear for their energy mix. And going into energy mix on nuclear, we need to do it right. And how to do it right, we've been able to go into this study, and I've been able to come up with some recommendations. If these recommendations are fully implemented with the standard protective measures like arms that we recommended, that we were able to come up with in this research, we know that soonest Nigeria will be able to have a cleaner environment. Thank you, and God bless.